Hello, my name is Matthew Chan, and I'm here with New York attorney Oscar Michelen.
Hello.
And we're going to be doing a video which I am very passionate about. And the topic today is how to find a good litigation attorney. So welcome, Oscar.
Good to see you again. It's a great topic.
Right. And it just so happens that I have a personal vested interest in this topic, so I'm just dying to hear your perspective on litigation attorneys. Now, how long have you been a litigation attorney?
Since 1985, when I was admitted to the bar,
Right.
I started right away litigating. That's all I've ever
For the
done.
city?
For the city of New York. And then in private practice with this very same firm that I'm with to this day in 1990. So for the government, for a few years at the start of my practice, and then for private clients, businesses, and individuals, 19 years,
Okay.
since 1990.
Now, I know the answer why litigation is important because I had to learn the hard way. Now,
Most people do.
Yeah, most people learn the hard way, but we're going to educate people. So, Oscar, why don't you tell our audience member, why is it important people care about litigation,
Okay.
even if they're not in it?
It's a real broad topic.
Okay.
But there's a number of different reasons.
Okay.
Let's start out with the more general. Almost every major social change in this country
Right.
has come about through litigation.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Well, let's start with that.
Okay, that's very broad.
Just about every broad social change. Segregation of schools, women's rights, consumer safety, voting rights, presidential power, congressional limitations on presidential power have all started by litigation.
I never knew that, Oscar.
Yeah.
I
Well,
never
we get a
knew
lot.
that. That's
Lawyers
pretty
get a
good.
lot of blame, and we don't get, I think, enough credit. I'm a big fan of lawyers for a number of reasons, not just because I am one, but I do feel that they don't get enough credit for taking on some of these causes. And yes, there's lots of bad things about lawyers, no question about that. But there's also a lot of good that comes through the proper use of the court system. That's what it's there for. So on the broad societal aspect of it,
Right.
litigation is vital to effectuate change that you can't get your lazy congressman to do for you.
I never knew that. That's a
And
good
so you
point.
bring an action,
Hmm.
and now it's got to be answered. It's got to
Right.
be resolved.
It gets people's attention if nothing else, right?
I'm trying to, for example, in any litigation where you are challenging the constitutionality of a law, you have to notify normally that state's attorney general.
Really?
Right, even though they're not party to the lawsuit. So let's say, for example, you were part of a company and some federal statute gave you the right to send me a bill or an invoice or something, and I think that statute is unconstitutional. I have to notify the Attorney General so that they can weigh in on whether it's constitutional or not. Okay? So you can get policymakers involved in private litigation sometimes, or certainly in criminal litigation, and it's a way to force an issue to be addressed that maybe you can't find some other way to get people's attention to it. For example, it's the perfect one. Again, now the latest topic is gay marriage.
Hmm.
So,
Hot topic.
hot topic. So what happens? California, for whatever reason, we think of it as a liberal state, but a conservative group there was able to put through Proposition 8,
Interesting.
which said no gay marriage. Marriage is defined by male and female. How are we going to challenge that? The governor is for gay marriage. So that's not good enough. Even electing a pro-gay marriage governor isn't going to effectuate that change if that's the change that you want to make. So what happened? A gay couple from California brought a lawsuit saying that law is unconstitutional, and it's going to be argued very soon in front of the United States Supreme Court.
You're going to be watching it closely, aren't you?
Of course. I think it's right now one of the more important social issues that our country needs to get addressed and just get out of the way, quite frankly. But so, by the way, a very conservative lawyer, Ted Olson, is championing that gay couple's rights.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes, Ted Olson was one of the most is one of the most conservative lawyers, a very pro-Bush lawyer, and he feels this is just an issue of personal and individual freedom, and he's taking the case on. So
Amazing.
there you go. That's the court that's
Okay.
using litigation. Now, specifically to bring it from the national issue to a very specific issue, if you and I have a disagreement, there's two ways to resolve it. We either fight in the streets or we fight in the court. And that's it. Litigation provides a forum for people to resolve their differences without resorting to violence and fisticuffs. And
We'd have anarchy if we had resolved things like that.
right, you'd have the strong over the weak.
Yes.
And you also would have, obviously, those that are in power being able to really take advantage of those that are not in power. That happens. We're not under any illusion that, you know,
Yes, it still
that
happens.
it's totally, perfectly a balanced utopia. But the fact is, the court system provides the closest thing to equal protection that you have in this country. So a small person, a small company can bring a claim against a large company and be heard and have equal rights in the court. So litigation provides an avenue for people to address their grievances in a civilized manner, and by doing that, you're creating more law. And that's how law is created in this country, through litigation, because cases make precedent. And if you mistreated me in a certain way and I prove that in court, then the next person can't do it to that person. So it doesn't just affect this small individual case. Every case does two things. It resolves that particular problem
Right.
between the two individuals, and it moves the body of law forward. As I tell my law students,
I never really thought about that.
every case moves the body of law a little bit forward, even if it doesn't change anything, as a way of saying, guess what? This is still the law.
Right.
Maybe you haven't heard it. This is still the law in this particular state. So you can't wait for Congress or your local legislature to act sometimes.
Takes too long.
You got to grease the wheels. It's all lobbyists. It's all influence. You know,
Yes.
I come from New York, where
Right.
every year our great state is voted as having the worst legislature in the country. Okay, nothing gets
And you're
done.
willing to say that, huh?
Oh, it's not, believe
That's
me,
unbelievable.
it's not any secret. We were shut down for months this year because of a fight over who was going to be the leader of the Senate, and senators were switching sides. It was a zoo, okay? So the court again provides a vehicle where you can try and effectuate change without waiting for your local legislator to do it. But most importantly, it's a nice forum that's presented for people to say, let's try to work this out. But if we can't work it out, we can go to this place and have either a judge or a jury arbitrate our decision. So litigation is very, very important.
So, would you say that most people at some point in their lives will be involved with litigation?
Right, it's not a pleasant thing. Let's start with that. I mean, I'm
Okay.
not saying that we should go out there and sue everybody, and there's
Right.
certainly too much litigation in the country. I think we've become too litigious. And that actually hurts good cases. The courts are clogged with cases that don't belong there, that should never been brought by either unscrupulous litigants or unscrupulous attorneys, and there's both out there. So let me make that clear.
Right.
But more importantly, it's for those with a valid case to have, you know, a place to go and to litigate. So as people, it really depends. See, if you're talking about someone who's starting a business and running a business, you're going to have litigation, chances are, somewhere within those first 5 years. That doesn't mean you have to go to court, but there will be some form of claim There'll be some form of grievance that you want to address. And there are steps that you can take, obviously, to reduce those risks and to put you in a better position should litigation become necessary. But very often, entrepreneurs and startups, small businesses, don't take the time to examine their business and say, what can I do at the beginning to kind of avoid litigation, or to put me in a better position should litigation be required.